Ski. Oh, here we go. All right. I like the audio was. I like the spikes. All right, here we go. MIC Podcast, episode 1. This is 112. 112, man. Community content. You get it all here, man. We have a special return guest if you've been following the pod for, a little bit now. This man is a personal trainer. He is a podcast host. He, just a general entrepreneur. I'm a coach. Listen, man, we got my man, Big Eisel Elite. Chris Eisel in the building, bro. What's going on, man?
How's it going? I'm happy to be here,
bro.
I appreciate you guys.
Absolutely, man, for sure, bro.
Like brothers to me,
no,
so
of course, man.
You guys having me on, it means a lot.
No, bro. I mean, no, of course. We had to get a proper sit in. Again, for anyone who's been following the pod for a little bit now, you were on early, bro. You were on in like the early iteration of the
early days.
Well, this joint was just the operation out of a damn near a studio apartment, and it was, just kind of doing its own thing there. But then, bro, I just want to say, like, since that episode, bro, and just even preparing for this show or this interview or whatever we call it, man, I am very, very proud of you, bro.
I appreciate it.
You've just been,
thank you.
It's just so clear, like the dedication and you have like you're consistent with like the shit that like you want to do. And that's very apparent, bro. And I just want to say I see it, I notice it, and I'm very proud of just what you've built for yourself in like the years since we've last spoke. Because damn, what was that, like 2 years ago now?
At least.
That's fucking crazy.
And speaking on consistency, you guys, starting from a studio apartment, and just figuring it out to having the setup that you guys have now, man, that just shows the growth that you guys are doing as well. And I'm glad to be a part of it.
No, man.
Days and, throughout. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely, bro. And, it's going to be dope to, just kind of go more in depth just to like, in what you've been doing in the years. So, I know we've touched on it, man, but like, in your own words, just kind of, what have you been, getting into and like since we've last seen you, bro?
So, growing up, always, been a sport fanatic and played sports my whole life, trained my whole life. My dream and my end goal in life was to make it professionally, as a baseball player.
Right.
I went to Indiana University, PA, and played baseball for 5 years there. And, whenever that dream didn't come to fruition,
right.
I had to think, okay, well, what am I going to do? I still want to stay involved. I still want to help young athletes and, professional level athletes, any athletes, that I want, to be able to help. And so, what I've been doing, I started up my own training business, Eisel Elite. Now that's going remote. And I've been working as a trainer at Hurt Locker and the South Hills of Baldwin or South Hills of Pittsburgh, for the past 3 years.
Right.
We've really helped build that up. The owner of that, Christian Hurt, someone we've grown up with.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Personally, obviously.
A lot of Hurt Lockers come through here for real. Yeah.
Yeah. So, whenever that didn't, come to fruition, my dream, I was like, okay, well, what am I going to do? Christian hit me up. He's like, hey, I already been following him. I knew that he had started up, the gym.
Right.
It was an interest of mine, but I didn't know 100%. He was like, hey, man, just come on down. Let's stay involved. Let's do this and build it. And so been training there since May 2021.
Right.
I would say my title is sports development coach. That's
okay.
Like, what my goal is. I work in the weight room, getting kids stronger, faster, more powerful. Work with a couple collegiate athletes, and now my dream, my goal, went from becoming a professional baseball player or a professional athlete for that matter, and now to develop one.
Absolutely.
Now that's like my life goal. So I found that purpose, and ever since May 2021, man, that's what I've been doing. I also coach baseball. And then for the past 2 years, I'm not doing it this year, but I've been the strength coach for Baldwin High School for football team.
Okay.
And then Mount Lebanon High School.
Yeah, and
well.
Absolutely, bro. And just before we get into that, because we're going to talk about all that coaching experience, which is super, super dope. I just want to just on a personal note, bro, when And like I may have asked you to see it when you first came in, but just to kind of rehash, bro. Like, so you have these dreams like going pro and everything. You know what I mean? It's like when that is starting to become more apparent that they that they may not shake out for you internally. Like, it just takes a lot of humility, just to kind of sit with that and be like, all right, you know what? This may not be something that is going to happen. Because I was just watching some sports pundits talk, and they were like, athletes always kind of have I don't want to say skew, but it's just like they kind of think that like they are a bit better than they really are, and then like sometimes they get traded the next day. They're like, yo, like I'm a dog at this, and like like the next day they're sitting at the fact like they got traded. So it's just like, obviously, like it's not that skill, but it's like, what was going on internally for you when like you're just like, man, like this may not shake out.
So honestly, kind of, I don't like to use this as an excuse.
Sure.
It's sort of an excuse, but my junior year, 2019, that was like draft board time. Really starting to think about it.
Yeah.
And my true senior year, 2020,
fucking COVID.
Was COVID. So
I mean, that's not an excuse, bro. That's fucked, bro. Like,
but I can also look at it like this, so the draft went from 40 rounds to 5 rounds.
Damn.
So
holy shit.
Being a D2 guy, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go for like probably a late round. Right?
Yeah,
I'm
right.
Expecting to be up in the top 5 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever that happened, I was pretty much like, okay.
Wait, so they cut it to just 5 rounds? Like
5 rounds in 2021, and then, or in 2020, and then I can't remember in 20. They might have went to like 20 rounds or something like that.
How many players each round when they like initially cut it to 5? That's crazy.
Yeah, so
that's like so many people like just aren't like, if you're not in the top, like that's crazy.
At that point, well, they also did away with like short season A ball. Like they did they made a lot of changes structurally to the organization as a whole.
Because like I'm not like obviously like too familiar with like the baseball drafts. Like I'm not sure how many total rounds there are, like how many picks per round. So like
I believe there's 40.
Okay.
Or I mean, it was 40.
Yeah.
Right. It was 40, and then to 5. I don't know what it is now.
Crazy, bro.
But I was expecting to be a later round draft guy. Whenever that happened, I was like, okay, you know what? It's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, my first thoughts were obviously hurt, but my thoughts, logically were, hey, I didn't do enough to be a top 5 round guy. You know what I mean? Like, I was kind of hoping to be a later round guy. Well, if I would have looked back on my life and certain kind of major parts of it to where if I made different decisions, I might be a top 5 round guy,
right.
And that's kind of that's my whole kind of purpose for teaching, especially younger kids is like, there's times where you don't realize it, but like these are major decisions that you need to make now. So whenever that time comes around, 5, 10, 15, however many years later, where it's like, oh, I'm hoping to be a late round draft guy. Well, maybe instead of hanging out, with my friends all summer and like not practicing as much, maybe that time should have been spent, really grinding and making sacrifices.
It's tough though, man, because like just even growing. I mean, because like you don't want to miss out on being, and like I'm talking about like maybe like more adolescent, like when like you're just like still like Lil League vibes, and like maybe like you're like 12, 13. I mean, like maybe like 14 is when like you start taking maybe like sports seriously. You know what I mean? But like I don't know, man. It's just like you obviously want to enjoy being a kid and like fucking around like this and the third. But I mean, no, like you're 100% right. Like it's because people that go pro, they're starting at 5, 6 years, 7 years old. You know what I mean? Like from the jump, it's like they're forging them in. I mean, bro, fucking Tiger Woods' dad made him. He made him start early, bro.
There does borderline like morally.
It gets abusive.
You know what I mean?
It gets. Joe Jackson is
it all
a little
depends
bit
on what your goal is.
Yeah,
like, if that's your lifelong goal,
right?
And as a kid, that's totally different. I actually believe that kids should, still be able to be kids.
Absolutely,
that's something that we preach in our training.
Of course, yeah.
We're not going to put a adolescent kid like under a bar and have do backswell. Like, let's have fun. Let's jump off stuff. Let's learn how to be an athlete, because that's what we did growing up. You learn how to be an athlete, but you didn't go to training.
Mm.
It was called playing outside with your friends.
Right, exactly, right, yeah.
Because there's a lot less of that now going on with, organization and youth sports and
iPads.
everything.
Yeah.
Because of that, now kids don't learn as much like how to naturally be an athlete.
Yeah,
so
right.
have to instill that, like, hey,
Right.
we're gonna play this competitive game. We're gonna play spike ball for 10 minutes. We're gonna play wall ball for 10 minutes, and they learn how to be athletes without actually having to be like all the science behind training.
Right.
So I don't remember exactly what our first talking about, like making sacrifices.
Yeah.
But there comes that time where, like, especially like early high school, where it's like, some kid might be right here and another kid's this far along past them, but whenever this kid decides to make that choice and, hey, I'm gonna make sacrifices and I'm gonna try and reach my goal,
they catch up quick.
And now 3 years later,
they surpass them. Yeah.
Now they're here, and that kid's still big the whole time. You know what I mean?
Bullshit.
So that's where you really have to say, what's my goal? What is my purpose? If that's what your goal is, if that's what your dream is, you can still enjoy life, but you're gonna have to make those sacrifices.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like getting in with the right crowd. If you're a kid who's a stud athlete and you're with a crowd who's too cool for school,
right,
and they don't care about grades and they don't care about doing the right things and being, an upstanding member of the school and being someone that people look up to, well, that's also going to look bad.
Definitely.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. Show your friends, I'll show you your future.
Exactly. We just, we do a mental toughness Zoom call every other Sunday. And one of the key things was that we were talking about this week was perseverance. And I don't remember how the conversation went, but we got to that exact point of, if you're going to become who you surround yourself with.
Absolutely.
We ended up, getting to that point, and that really is true. If you're around people
100%
want to do the right thing and are just good people, then you're most likely going to be.
Bro, I mean, like, you're just naturally just influenced by your environment, like, up to like a certain point. Like obviously, like at a certain point, you kind of get salient and like you're able to, remove yourself from like certain environments, like, not have everything permeate, you know what I mean, just like your identity, but like just in the key parts of life, bro, it's just like whoever you're hanging around. I mean, bro, that's what you're gonna do, bro.
Right.
Like it's just the nature of things, man. Like, like, and it may sound cliche, but it really is. Like, there's a lot of truth to that.
Right. And I'm not saying that you need to be goody two shoes.
No,
you know
not,
what I mean?
not for sure.
But
it's just like add like a larger picture,
objectively, if you make certain decisions, certain consequences can happen.
No,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Objectively,
right?
Whether it's talking about being a good person, bad person, whatever. If you decide, you're at a get together with your friends and people are drinking, and you decide to drive home, and you're an athlete who wants to go somewhere and wants to be a professional athlete, you decide to drive home because you don't feel like sleeping at your buddy's house. If you get pulled over, that doesn't mean you're a bad person.
Yeah, just
you made a bad decision,
bad call, gang. Yeah,
and luckily I was smart in that regard and never was
right
into that. But there were certain things.
Of course,
of course. You look back and you're like, yeah, that was a bad decision.
Cut to John Moran waving a gun on IG Live. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
geez. Right.
He still plays though, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. I mean, like,
so that's not a good example. That's like, hey, kids, you can wave a gun on live, and you'll still be a member.
No. Well, but obviously, because like the second. Because, like, I think the time on IG Live was, like, the second time he got. So, like, it was just, like, it was a whole scrutiny behind.
It's just being smart.
Yeah.
And reputation is everything. You know what I mean? So, if you're putting stupid stuff on social media or, just know that coaches see that.
Right.
For any young athletes out there that are watching this.
Definitely. Not for sure.
And this kind of stuff. Like,
we've seen it.
Yeah,
it's a tale as old as time, man.
Exactly.
Like, kids got the world in his hands. He does some, dumb stuff, and like on Twitter, and boom, it's just it's gone. So
right.
I know you touched on your coaching experience at Baldwin, then I'm at Mount Lebo, and like you're just leaving the position at Mount Lebo. Congratulations on that, bro. That's fucking awesome, man. I hope it was everything you imagine it more, bro, for real.
Right.
But
I mean, obviously, whenever you go with a team, the
rivals,
you want
right?
to win everything. But you want to win. So like, unless you win the championship, then it's not how you want it to go. But
sure, right.
at the end of the day, that's not what matters. What matters is the relationships that you
of course, yeah, definitely.
And the experiences you make. We beat Mount Lebanon beat Bethel Park. Overtime. Games and
nice.
That was one of the coolest experiences.
Yeah,
I've seen, you know what I mean?
Did they storm the field or?
Oh yeah,
that's fine.
Stormed the heck out of the field.
That's fine.
But there's stuff like that,
Yeah, sure.
Obviously you want to win championships, that's all well and good, but at the end of the day, it's about the experiences, relationship. I mean, coached with a bunch of amazing guys.
Right.
Learned a lot from a lot of amazing football minds, and I played football in high school, but I'm not a football guy. I was a strength coach. You know what I mean? So they're talking about plays, and I'm like, what the heck?
Do the sports thing you just said, right? yeah.
I could help out here and there with just some general stuff.
Exactly.
But, I'm not telling you who the X is and
So, bro, I was even gonna ask, just with those two coaching experiences, under your belt, and forgive my ignorance, in this question, but when it comes to strength and conditioning specifically, is it a specific approach that you do for football, or and how is it when you're coaching something that wasn't your core sport? How do you approach that, or do sports just across the board share the same fitness principles, or
right? So my philosophy is I'm gonna create a stellar athlete. In turn, so I can in terms of the baseball side, I have a lot more value from the skill perspective.
Sure, right.
In terms of the football side, I stay with the athlete. I'm going to create an explosive, dynamic, fast, mobile beast of an athlete, right? And then the football coach is going to teach him how to play football.
Oh, sure. Okay, yeah, right. For that.
He's going to teach him how to do his stunts on the line. And,
right.
What keys to reach.
Jumping over
but I'm going to give you a beast of a person to work with.
Sure,
exactly.
Sure. Okay.
In terms of specific training or a method that I use, I'm very movement pattern based. So, fundamental human movement patterns. We're talking squat, we're talking lunge, we're talking hinge, we're talking press, push, we're talking pull, we're talking rotation, and we're talking carrying shit. That's what I see in layman's terms of movement patterns.
Okay.
How we put those together and organize a program depends on the sport. It depends on the level of the athlete. It depends on their schedule. So where they're at in their off season or season.
Sure.
And then their how they're doing as well. They have had an injury, if they have something or some dysfunction that we have to address.
Okay.
That's all kind of it's athlete specific, but it's every kid needs a squat, every kid needs a lunge, every kid or athlete, I shouldn't say athlete, not just kid, but kids especially need to have this down. They need to squat, they need to lunge, they need to hinge or bend, they need to press, they need to pull, rotate, carry. That's what we're as humans designed to do. The best athletes are the ones that do all those movements extremely well with a lot of load and a lot of velocity and a lot of dynamic effort.
Okay.
So you see, Jalen Hurts, doing a 600-pound back squat. That's the same exact movement as little Timmy, who's doing a goblet squat with a dumbbell holding it like this.
Right.
Same exact movement. He's a stellar athlete because he's doing it with load, moving extremely well and efficiently, and being able to do something like that.
Right, sure.
Someone who's building that foundation. So, if we're talking different age demographics, let's say I get a kid in middle school, he's in 8th grade, Maybe he's a little bit uncoordinated. Maybe his lower body strength is a lot better than his upper body strength.
Okay.
And just different things that I see with that based off of assessment. So, what I do is, okay, he needs to work on some balance.
Right. Okay. Right.
We can probably achieve that by doing some single leg strength. We can probably achieve that by doing some like heel to toe walks.
Okay.
We can definitely achieve it by doing some core strengthening. So that's how I kind of, what does the athlete need?
Right.
And what is the highest return rate with the lowest cost?
Yeah,
so
sure.
What can I give them that's not going to put them in harm's way, but it's going to
maximize there.
It's going to maximize the results that they get.
Sure.
And then we progressively overload that.
Okay.
So let's say a kid can't do a squat. He cannot do a squat with proper form. Well, then he's not going to do a squat with any weight.
Okay.
He's going to do some body weight squats until he gets that form down. Okay, now let's add some load. Okay, for the first year, he goes from a 10-pound dumbbell to a 30-pound dumbbell.
Sure.
First year. Okay. So he's made that big jump.
Sure.
And that's a pretty long time to increase 20 pounds.
Yeah, right.
And that first year he does that.
Yeah.
And that second year he goes from that 30-pound dumbbell to 80-pound dumbbell.
Sure, yeah.
Let's just say he makes a huge jump. He gets a little bit older. You know what I mean? Okay, perfect. Great form. Okay, let's find a different modality and a different variation of that exercise that we can progress.
Yeah.
Now let's try and do it under a barbell, and we just follow those rules depending on the athlete. If I got a college guy who's a stellar athlete right off the jump, I'm probably not going to start him with 10-pound goblet squats. He's probably going to start with something that I know he can do.
Right.
That's going to be levels above that 8th grade kid. You know what I mean?
No. Fact.
They all got to do it. They all got to do it, no matter what level.
Is it tough to do you just do a preliminary fitness assessment of them? Okay, yeah, and then
that's
you
movement
just
pattern based as well.
Okay, got you. All right.
Give me 5 squats.
Okay.
Those sucked. Okay, I know I ain't giving you back. I know I ain't giving you
copy
heavy back squat.
Yeah, right.
Let's do a push up.
Okay.
Okay, those were good. I know that we can do push ups.
Focus on yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
No, I feel that.
And then another thing too is the not just the strength side, but just the athlete side in general. I mean, you're talking. And another thing that I like to do too, is do some reaction training and cognitive training. With kids. Because you'd be surprised at how many young athletes can't. If I throw a tennis ball at them, they can't just catch it no problem. Yeah. You know what I mean? And being able to do that and react to moving objects in space and just rewire your brain to be able to solve complex problems in a timely manner. That's what's going to create a good athlete as well.
Absolutely.
You can get someone to be extremely strong, but if you don't work those other aspects of it too, that people don't see, how good of an athlete are they really? Or are they just really, really strong? Strength's a huge part of it.
No, definitely.
There's a lot more that goes into it in terms of creating a all-around good athlete, great athlete as well.
Did you approach the Mount Lebanon coaching gig any differently than the Baldwin one, or did you pretty much just take the same principles from Baldwin and
So I programmed solely for Baldwin.
Okay.
So I was the only person there with a background, not the only person on the staff with a background.
Sure, right.
Training,
yeah, right.
But in the sport develop the training that I kind of do.
Right.
Whereas at Mount Lebanon, me and the head coach were really well versed in it, so me and him would collaborate on it. And it was very similar stuff. I mean, movement pattern, in a team setting, it can be, in a team setting, it can be a little bit different for how you approach it, in terms of a semi-private, because you can really sit there and work with an athlete. I might spend 30 minutes teaching an athlete in the gym 2 movements at a semi-private setting or a private setting. With a team, you don't have that luxury because you have 50 people working out at the same time. It's got to be quicker. So it's a lot more of floating around.
Sure.
In that setting.
Sure.
And that's even more important for kind of creating that maximum benefit with the least amount of cost, because you have kids you're talking about with a 4-year age difference, trying to get the most out of them with the same team lift.
Right.
And you can achieve that by changing your exercises or your workout depending on fitness level of the athlete. So if you have like a group of seniors or, upperclassmen that are really good at doing, certain movements, you can give them certain things.
Right.
And, kind of the younger guys who are still learning, you can kind of modify it for them. Or you can do it based on position.
That's true.
We did a lot of based on position stuff, like your wide receivers, your running backs, your cornerbacks, like your cheetahs, they're going to be doing cheetah movements. That's what I like. Okay. There's a guy named Caleb Thrasher. He likes using that term. He also worked at Lebo in a different kind of setting, but he was
shout out to the cheetahs out there, right?
So your cheetahs are going to do cheetah movements.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They're going to be doing a lot of your jumps. They're going to be doing a lot of your cutting. Your big guys,
they make sense. The cutting movements, a
lot of single leg jump, stuff like that. Where your big guys, if they're doing the exact same movement, they're going to have a higher cost because of how much bigger they are.
Yeah,
moving a lot more mass.
Yeah, right.
So you might modify it for bigger guys. They can still jump. They can still do these things.
I'd be like,
just modifying it a little bit,
bro. Like just anyone. Specifically football, bro. Like, I don't know, man. Some of the physical properties of these, I'm talking more like college level, pro level,
really at any level,
and
high school,
bro. Because there's some high schoolers.
There's some guys on that high school football,
bro.
I'm looking at.
Yeah, you yo, bro. You should let me check your birth certificate. What's going on with that?
And that just goes to show how far the training's come too,
right?
And the things that people know now. Versus whenever
definitely
your best athlete in 1950
man
looks a lot different than your best athlete in 2020.
100%. And just even the care available, just even from an injury standpoint, bro, if you had an ACL tear, like you said, in 95, you're done, your career may be done.
Right.
Your career may be done. Now people maybe just take the season out. They'll come back ready to play. You know what I mean? Just regardless of any sport, you know what I mean? So just even the care available to you and like you said, bro, just even the training options, someone like LeBron who has minimal injuries in his career, someone like Tom Brady who's had minimal injuries, throughout his career. So no, man, I mean, I feel you on that for sure.
Right. And going off football players in general, man, I think I personally think if you're looking at it from every angle, strength, speed, just capability, just athletic capability, I think football players are probably the best athletes. They're the best
bro.
athletes.
It's the amount of, because I mean football is just such a unique sport, and yes, I get parallels to rugby and stuff like that, but just with football specifically, man, it's just you need a different level of explosiveness, you need a different level of reaction time. If you're a QB, your ability to think on your feet, make a switch, that IQ has to be there. You know what I mean? Now, if you're just talking from a pure receiver standpoint, the speed got to be there. The field awareness. Where am I? Where am I supposed to go? Where's the ball going to be?
Right.
And sometimes people just make plays where you're just okay, that just boils down to him being a freak.
Right.
Saquon Barkley jumping over a human being, OBJ with that crazy catch,
not only jumping over a human being, but then in no time being able to reach top speed again and run away from people.
Bro, exactly.
Who were also running top
that
speed.
Pickup speed is fucking crazy, you know what I mean? So it's just bro, I 100% agree with you where it's and I've just even come into that realization a little bit later in life. I started gravitating towards football later in life. I went to Penn State, big football school. I mean, I wasn't there for football. You know what I mean? Right. But Saquon was actually the one that made me kind of be what's going on with that? Just because the way he played just jumped off the screen. So I'm just okay, I don't understandably grasp the sport, but what he's doing, I know he's bugging right now. He's not his peers aren't doing that. So just cases like that, just made me gravitate towards the sport and now I'm just kind of really appreciating my my first football season, like this season that just ended. I think it was a great season of football. I was really immersed like in like the storyline, just like kind of watching the league, watching like certain athletes, man. So like it was really dope. So I mean, nah, man, I feel you, bro.
Yeah, and that's not to like put down any other sport.
Like, no, of course not.
Every,
of course.
Sport, like every sport has something that's better than the other sport.
Exactly right.
I'm looking at it as like just an all around over
what it entails. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, coaching it, man, playing it and coaching it are two different
games, bro.
Like when you're playing, you're just in it. And whatever happens, and you can only see. I mean, you hopefully you see a lot of the field, but like your vision's like this.
Yeah, right.
Because you got your face mask on. You're narrow vision.
Cut.
Your narrow vision. But when you're watching it on the sideline,
right,
coach, like I'm like this, and I'm like watching like it's a horror movie because it's like it's crazy. Like
it's wild.
You see everything. You see this kid just get smoked over here. You see someone land awkwardly, and you're like, oh man, especially in the field where like I don't want to see any getting injured.
Of course not. Yeah,
unfortunately, football is a sport
heavy contact.
There's some inevitability there.
Yeah, no,
to some
definitely.
degree. But that's why as coaches, strength coaches, and fitness professionals, that's why we need to take that injury prevention side seriously as well, with mobility, flexibility training, and not just getting strong, but being able to be mobile and being able to move as well. If you're super strong but you're super stiff, that might still not help you in terms of injury wise, right? It doesn't matter how strong you are if you're injured.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
We do our best to keep kids healthy and keep our athletes healthy. And that unfortunately, like that's just part of sports sometimes.
No, man, and like I'm sure y'all are doing, whatever y'all can again to like prevent those, like the real nasty ones. But again, you're playing sport like football. What can you do, bro? So I do want to get into, man. Again, super proud of you, bro. Podcasting, man. You have your own podcast, bro. Hear from the pros, bro.
Yep.
Shit is super dope, man. Just going from someone who was an athlete. Now you're on the coaching training side, personal training side of things, and then eventually into podcasting, bro. Like, how was that transition for you? Like, was it smooth? Was it like?
I don't look at it like a podcast, honestly.
Okay.
I look at it because it's done over Zoom, so I kind of just see it as like kind of like a business phone call.
I mean,
with people when you talk about.
Hey, the Kelsey brothers are over Zoom or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Hey, so I mean, they got a pop-in podcast.
Right. Like, maybe technically it is, but I never thought of it in that way.
Chris is a podcaster. Fuck that.
Yeah.
You
so
potted,
basically,
bro.
What the essence of it is I talk to either current or former professional athletes.
Mm-hmm.
I talk to Kurt Heinisch, who is currently in the NFL.
Yes, sir.
I also talked to Ryan Ole, who was drafted in the 7th round by the Seattle Mariners, and then my college roommate TJ Adams.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Was drafted in by the Phillies in 2019. So it's cool. Like the whole point of it is to give knowledge from people who have made it there,
absolutely,
and are still there, that maybe not only I can't give, but even if I try to give it, they're like, okay, well, you're my trainer. You know what I mean? Of course, you're going to tell me this, but, maybe hearing it from someone who's in the league, or hearing it from someone who made it and got drafted, that might be something that changes someone's perspective on like, hey, maybe I got to really take this a different way. Maybe I have to go this alternate route to get to where I want. Maybe I'm not doing the things I need to do. This guy who's in the league right now told me, I should do it, so I'm going to do it.
Just finding like those credible sources, like not even said like not even facts, and like not even said like you're not credible yourself, but like I guess it just helps when you got someone maybe from that realm to speak. Yeah, absolutely,
exactly. And I think the fact that I'm having conversations with these guys helps my credibility with that.
100.
So next time I tell them like, hey, I just talked to this guy.
Yeah,
that's what he said. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, if there's any current or former professional athletes out there, I would love to, get you on. It's about 30 minutes of your time. And, it's just an interview based, thing where, we just talk. I ask some questions about, lifestyle and, daily process and, kind of what got you to where, you were or are, that, can help the next generation of athletes. So that's the whole essence of it.
Absolutely, man. What made you what sparked the interest into you starting that, man?
I was just kind of thinking what can I do to, help athletes?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I know some guys who are pros and were pros and are pros. So I was like, hey, maybe I'll just give this a go. And it just came to me one day and I was like, I should, I could literally, I have them in my contacts. I'll just text them and say, hey, would you be willing to do this? And luckily, the people that I've talked to so far have all been willing to do it. So I'm looking for another professional athlete. So I'd love to, have anyone on who's watching and might have some good things to say.
No, yeah, absolutely. And as far as just the technical, side of the things, was that something you learned yourself? Do you kind of consult someone before let's yo, how the fuck do I, set this shit up?
Yeah, I mean, I just looked up on Google and how do you record a Zoom meeting?
There you go. Yeah, facts.
2 or 3 clicks of a button later.
Yeah, right.
Pretty good to go.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Facts. Reason why I just wanted it to be over Zoom.
Yeah.
All the equipment, lighting, and all that stuff, and just spaced and and plus with schedules, I think it's a lot easier.
That's a good point too. Yeah.
It's gonna be more beneficial for me to be able to just be like, hey, let's hop on Zoom
real quick.
30 minutes and talk, and then I can do all the other.
It allows people just even be more open to the opportunity, because if you said yo, you gotta meet here, do that, and then it kind of it's like, oh well, I know if I can do that, you know what I mean? But people can hop on a Zoom call for just real quick for 30.
They can be in their pajamas.
Exactly right.
And be talking,
chilling,
over
right?
Zoom,
exactly,
totally fine.
Was it something that just came pretty natural to you? Again, I know that you have a rapport with these people, prior, but just the whole, recording a conversation with you, because a lot of people aren't cool with just being recorded, period. Right. You know what I mean? They get kind of, skittish, you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's was that something that came natural to you? Did you kind of have to adjust to that?
I mean, like you said, the fact that I know them helped.
Yeah.
Because it was kind of just we talked for 10 mintes.
Facts. Hash out what was going on.
In terms of being an interviewer, I definitely think whenever I rewatched, all of them, I was like, oh man, I should have changed this, or I could have done that better.
I mean,
so it's just part of, it's like anything. The more you do it, the more I'm sure you get comfortable with it. I'm still not 100% I got this down. I only
no, and of course, you're gonna grow, you're gonna improve. You're gonna watch stuff back and be
right.
But bro, off the first 3, bro. You got something.
Yeah.
Bro, you
appreciate it.
You have something in this. I think this is perfect for you, bro. And I'm so glad that you even started it, bro. Because when I saw this, I was like, yo, I just got mad happy. I'm just this is lit. This is something you can just sink your teeth into, bro. So do you feel the same way about it? Do you feel it's something that you can just stand 10 toes in it, or
I was kind of just doing it as a. Just a little kind of side
thing. Right.
I haven't really thought to go super big into it.
Nah, fuck that, bro. Nah, fuck that, bro. No. And again, I personally can't point to many. And again, I'm not from this city originally, so I'm not sure what the ether is sports podcast wise, but I don't know too many that are.
Right.
I don't know. It's just there's not many that are on the radar right now. So, bro, I think you have such a pocket for just for you in the stuff that you love, bro. And it won't even obviously just with more of the technical side, just setting stuff up that is going to be work, but it's for something that you fuck with a lot. And this is the conversations may not even it may not even dawn on you that you're talking to this current pro about X, Y, and Z. You're just talking about things you would normally talk to your homies about it, or just some your colleagues about, you know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think, if depending on who I talk to, it might be like if I was to interview Sidney Crosby, I'd probably
yeah, no,
be acting a little bit different.
yeah,
you know what I mean?
no, we all got those like few words. Just like, all right, like this is kind of crazy. I'm talking like so and so right now for sure.
Well,
Like,
yeah, I think it's fun, and like the biggest thing is like, I just hope it's helpful. And
no, I'm sure it is, bro.
That's the biggest thing. There was actually a kid who's trained by Justin Locanti, a hockey player. He
Shout out to
at
Justin.
the gym. Yeah, Justin, great guy, excellent trainer. Like he's actually going to be going off and doing his own gym.
Okay, where? Shout out to that. Oh, congrats. That's fucking awesome.
That's awesome.
That's dope
for him. But one of his athletes came up to me the other day, and he was like, "Hey, I watched like your full thing with Kurt Heinrich," and he was like, "That really like opened my eyes up," and I was like, "Oh man, like I didn't like." I kind of just put it out there, like maybe 2 people will watch it. You know what I mean? Maybe no one will even watch it. Kind of just because. So the fact that he watched the whole entire thing through, was kind of like, okay, like, yeah, it's actually provides value for these kids.
No, bro. Again, I think just even from like a conversational standpoint, it's dope. You like talking about that stuff is like like you can it's like breathe into you, bro. Like, I mean, it's
right.
It's so natural. Like you don't even have to think about it,
right?
And then like again, the value people gain from bro, there could be a dude from Pittsburgh who's been following Kurt Heinrich his whole career,
right?
And then stumbles upon it, is like, yo, wait a minute, so Kurt's from Pittsburgh, and what the dude that's talking to him, he's from what the fuck?
Right.
It could just be like a whole moment for them. So
right.
And like I even want to kind of dig deeper into the Kurt conversations because I saw the clips that you posted on IG. It looked like just again like an overall great conversation, bro.
Yeah.
So, but just from his conversation and just like kind of chopping it up with him, was there anything that you took from the conversation just as far as applying it to maybe your strength and conditioning coaching career or just like really not even Kurt specifically, just across any of the conversations that like you've had so far? Like, have you pulled anything that you can personally apply to?
I think the thing that really inspired me about talking to him was his story. He played football at Notre Dame,
right.
Central Catholic High School.
Okay.
He's from Baldwin, but he moved to Central, so that's a whole different story. Jag off.
Yeah.
But went to Notre Dame, great career. He thought he was going to get drafted, and whenever he didn't, he was really upset. But he took the mindset of like, I don't care that I didn't get drafted. I'm going to go to Houston because I think I can get signed. And I'm going to be an absolute dog down there.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. He said he was, during like walkthroughs and stuff, like you shouldn't technically be throwing your teammates to the ground and like acting like that.
Right, yeah.
But like he knew that would make a statement.
Yeah, sure.
And, sure enough, he got signed, and now he's sacked Lamar Jackson in the divisional round last year. You know what I mean? So he went from undrafted to just like having just such a relentless belief in himself and such like a can do, like will do, I'm going for it 100%, 10 toes, and did it, And
did he just like what, when he moved to Houston, like where did he, like, did he transfer schools or like how did
this was after college?
Okay,
like,
copy.
He moved to Houston to
just off the strength. Okay,
just
got
signed by the Texans.
Wow,
that's what he went
copy.
For.
Okay,
yeah.
Like were they having tryouts or like what was the situation?
I'm sure they had something like that. You know what I mean? Like where I don't know the exact thing.
Yeah, sure.
He was kind of just talking about the essence of it.
Yeah, right.
But, basically went down there and was like, hey, I'm better than you. I'm better than you. I don't care about where I'm at. I don't care about where you are. Like, I'm going to dog you.
Yeah,
like, whenever you go up against me, you're going to wish that you weren't going against me because I'm just not going to stop.
Yeah, fact.
Just the fact that paid off for him so well just goes to show, like, things are going to happen that you don't plan for.
Right.
He planned to get drafted. He didn't. But it's not about what happens. It's about how you react to
absolutely.
it, and that's like super inspiring for me. Because there's been times in my life where some didn't go my way and, I'm down in the dumps about it,
Yeah, sure.
Maybe I'm just like, okay, well, screw it.
Yeah, right.
Versus like, hey, that didn't work out for me. Let's find an alternate route. Let's dig even deeper.
Right.
And so that was really inspiring for me, definitely about that.
How'd you initially get in contact with Kirtland? Like, was he?
So I knew him growing up.
Oh, okay.
We played like youth football together.
Oh, okay.
And even throughout middle school and stuff, like know their family really well.
Yeah.
So he was just in my contacts because I know him.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I was
that's
like,
crazy.
yeah, this guy's in the NFL. Like maybe he'd be interested.
Yeah.
And I shot him a text, and he was down. He was like super easy to work with and easy to communicate with. So shout out to Kurt, great dude, super inspiring story. Nothing but respect for that guy.
No, I mean, he went to Houston and started throwing his teammates. I mean, how are they feeling about just being?
They're probably like, damn, this dude's
yeah.
I want to go up.
Thankfully, he's on our team, but that kind of hurt.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like maybe an unwritten rule that you shouldn't be doing that, but the point that he made was those coaches are going to be going back there talking.
Fair
about
enough.
It, no. You see what happened?
I respect it.
So
I mean, even just in the case with TJ Adams, again, your former college roommate, he got drafted by the Phillies, man. Like, just how was that full circle moment into, being, college roommates, see them get drafted and now starting your own podcast.
Right.
And now he's a guest on that shit. Like, how, like, what was that moment like? That's fucking crazy.
That was awesome because TJ was at that time and probably still like just one of the I don't even know what the word is to describe it, just like nonstop kind of guy. Like, this dude will wake up at 3 a.m. and go drive to Ohio to hunt deer and then come back at midnight, go to the gym, work out, train. Like, his schedule in college probably wasn't the best, honestly.
Right.
But like his work ethic was unmatched. And his attitude too was like just amazing.
Yeah.
Like, that dude's been, not to get into like any personal situation with him, but that dude has been through a lot.
Right.
And like you'd never know it.
Yeah.
Because he's just that he's just that stoic dude. You know what I mean? Who's and to bring it back to sports, stuff didn't always go his way whenever he was playing. He struggled a lot whenever he was playing.
Yeah.
And you never saw it. Like, you would have thought, whether he struck out 25 guys in 2 days or whether he walked 25 guys in 2 days, you wouldn't know because he's just a great teammate and a great leader. And that was another reason why he, was picked up too, because, he's a workhorse and, he doesn't show like negative emotions on the baseball field.
Yeah, right.
And he's aside from being a great, baseball player.
Sure.
So yeah, his attitude and his dedication, and I was privileged to be able to see that. You know what I mean?
That's dope, yeah.
I was privileged to be able to live with that dude and learn a lot from him as well.
Right.
So great dude, one of my best friends. I can't say enough good things about
Of
DJ.
course, yeah. You got any favorite moments from that conversation, or just like kind of points that stuck out to you, or?
I think his story was kind of the same. Like, he went down there, he was a late round guy, but he was going to go down and compete, and he was not going to let, the moment,
Overshadow
him. Yeah. He's not going to let the moment or anybody, try to put him down.
Right.
He has the same attitude that Kurt had. So his story as well, just, really inspiring. That's the biggest thing, I think, with these guys is just like hearing how they came up and, how they got to where they got.
Sure.
It wasn't just, I was the best.
Right.
And then
I'm the best here. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Like a lot of trials and tribulations,
right.
Working hard and, failure and overcoming failure and,
sure.
Things that everyone goes through. But the difference between those kind of guys and, maybe someone who doesn't get there is that, whenever this happens, this person quits, it happens to them and they keep going.
Right.
And they just don't quit.
No, definitely.
So that attitude is, that taking that attitude is so important.
I want to get your take on this, bro. Like, what do you think it is about Pittsburgh that it produces some of, sports' best athletes? Like,
I think it's just like the grittiness and the blue collar.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, facts.
Pittsburgh.
I agree.
Just like the toughness, like the steel curtain.
Yeah.
Like Pittsburgh sports are known for being like tough.
Yeah, facts.
And just the Northeast in general.
Facts.
The United
Yeah,
States.
facts.
I mean, great sports. Everywhere has great sports, but I really think Pittsburgh has really great sports because like the sport culture here is so great.
Yeah.
I know this was a long time ago, but the Pirates winning World Series after World Series in the 70s.
Yeah.
And then also the Steelers. And then, you got the back-to-back cups in the 90s for the Pens. And then another back-to-back cup year in 2016, 2017. Like, we're privileged and we're lucky and we're spoiled as sports fans of this town because we know a lot of success.
Yeah.
I mean, even, some people argue against this and some people argue for it, but even Mike Tomlin having however many consecutive non-losing seasons, that just goes to show that, like, even when we don't have a good team, we're still going to find a way to win.
Yeah, facts.
A lot of the time, over 50% of the time.
Yeah, I was about to be like, last season was indicative of that.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I mean, and I also think it's a bit unfair to our sports teams because people expect so much and they expect to win a championship or Super Bowl or a World Series, and maybe not World Series anymore.
No.
But hey, the Pirates are making some great moves. I think they got a lot of young talent, so I'm excited to see them, in the next couple of years. But traditionally I'm talking. But I think we're just huge on sports here. And I think that reflects on, how our athletes are as well.
No, I agree. I mean, I just wanted, your take just again as like a literal coach and just like, someone who's talking to like, athletes that have grown up here and like, have come through the city. Like, and I mean, bro, I agree with you 100%. I feel like Pittsburgh is a very gritty city. Mm-hmm. It's a very, blue collar city. Like, I think it has developed me just like you and like, as a person, like, since moving here, like, I feel like, officially from this city. I mean, just like I just feel like the city has fully adopted me, and I feel like I've internally grown. Have done like a lot of my growing since I have started living here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, and I think that happens no matter where you go.
Yeah, sure.
If you move, if you're not originally from there, especially moving late.
Yeah, for sure.
That's tough.
Yeah, for sure.
You're not gonna go to a different school where you're gonna kind of
assimilate to like exactly. For sure.
You're going as an adult.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You have to make your own. So that's a testament to you, for what you're able to do.
Oh no, I appreciate it. I met you.
Maryland.
Yeah. I'm from Maryland, Ridge. Born and raised out there. And people who watch this pod are probably like, "Yo, shut the fuck up about this fucking store." You know what I mean? But no, I mean that's just my journey. I mean, born and raised in Maryland. Lived in Colorado during COVID year. Moved back to the crib. Mike brought my black ass out here. You know what I mean? Started hosting this podcast, man. So no, bro. I mean,
Pittsburgh's lucky to have you, man.
No, I'm lucky to be here,
friend.
No, bro. Likewise, and just even a brother, man. So I do want to get, man, to your merch and just again, just your whole wave of just entrepreneurship here, man. Again, bro, I'm telling you, man, I'm super super proud of you, bro.
Thank you.
Like it's just like super dope to see, man. So just speak to how you think or how you've even seen yourself evolve, right, as like an entrepreneur and just watching the Eisel Elite brand grow.
Yeah.
And just even, you yourself growing with it,
Right. I think it's just learning on how to do things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I'm still doing. Shout out to Dr. Dale Bartek, who I got one of my training certifications from, and who's also my online business coach.
Dope.
Because if I didn't seek him, I'd still be in square one.
Yeah.
I'm probably still in square one, but I would still be at the beginning of square one. Maybe I'm a little bit farther along in square one now. But just learning how to do things tech wise on the computer, learning you got to do the social media stuff.
Yeah, right.
And that's like not something who I am personally.
Sure, right.
So that's tough, like being consistent with like posting on social media and all that.
Even if you are that person, I mean, like it's tough, bro, to just constantly be on that shit and just constantly just put something.
Right.
I'm like, bro, like I mean, like I'm not like I wouldn't say like I'm huge on social media, like I'm definitely present on there, but like I don't make it a point to just be on that shit fucking all day, like.
Part of the training business now, and because social media is so
fair,
big,
yeah, that's true.
it's a no-brainer that you should be doing it. So learning kind of how that stuff works. And then just, I mean, my biggest thing is like, I know I'm going to be successful because I get results from my athletes. You know what I mean? Like, I know what I'm doing when I get an athlete in the door. Every athlete who comes to me is going to be better for, 2 months later than he is when he walks in, because I know what I'm doing. And I know, just from experience at this point, at most times what someone needs and how to get them there.
Right.
Not only we know that we got to do this, but I understand what route to take to get there. And that route's different for different athletes. And, it's not easy, but, it's something that I'm getting a lot more comfortable with.
Absolutely.
But what was your
I would just just kind of looking at how Eisel Elite just like how Eisel Elite has grown. Like, how have you seen like yourself evolve? That's like the brand evolve. Like,
right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's just, I tell myself, just one day at a time. I can't be where I want to be in 10 years right now.
Yeah, sure, right, yeah, exactly.
So, it's just, like you said, I got some T-shirts made. Like, that's a way to get the brand out.
Absolutely.
Business cards, having a logo, like being able to, put that logo on different, things. And like I said, at the end of the day, it all just comes back to it's going to be successful if I get results for the people that I work with.
No, definitely.
Some people's strategy is, let's get 1 million of them, and that's how we're going to do it.
Right.
Some people's is, let's get some and let's turn them into something, and that's the strategy.
Yeah.
So there's different strategies, and I think it's just, if I get results, people are going to say, hey, who do you train with? How do you you look like a beast. How do you do that? Oh, well, I go here. And then that's how.
Yeah.
Fact. So
it's like no organic.
I think it's just results driven, and then just learning all the backside stuff of it. You know what I mean? That you don't.
You think there's
first?
No, facts. And like, do you think there's like maybe like something that you can point to that like you'd be like, okay, no, like I've turned up on this specifically, like before I wasn't doing that.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think the merchandise stuff. I have two T-shirts now, and like just putting stuff on social media. Definitely, I guess because I was not doing that at all at first.
I mean, bro, again, it's easier said than done. Like, the concept is easy, just put yourself on social media, sure, but it's just like, okay, like, how do I go about that? You want to do something that's in line with who you are and like the way you. I think
the tough part for me about doing social media as well is I don't. And, for trainers that do stuff like this, like, there's still, I'm not saying they're not good trainers, but a lot of people put stuff on social media that, like, just looks good on social media.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to post a kid doing a goblet squat.
Yeah, right.
They're going to post them doing some crazy thing.
Jumping over, like 19 Hondas or some shit. Yeah.
Right. And so that's a strategy that people use, too. They use, like, the controversy side of it, because they know a lot of people are going to be in their comments saying
that's the wackest route, I think. Yeah,
and then
it's all about engagement, bro. You got to get people to engage,
right? And at the end of the day, a lot of those people are extremely successful, and I'm sure they're still getting results for their athletes because they're still going.
Yeah,
but they understand, like, maybe people see something and they want to hate on it,
right?
So they know that it'll create that engagement.
Yeah, right.
I mean, whereas I'm like posting the basics. Like,
sure.
Because I truly believe, like, if you master the basics and you progressively overload, like, the results are going to happen.
Speak for themselves.
The results are going to speak for themselves. It might not look sexy in a video, and look like some crazy, spontaneous, amazing thing that's like revolutionary.
Like Dude Awesome or some shit. Like,
it's going to get them results.
No, for sure, man. And just even like, bro, like that controversy route again. Like, there's organic controversy where it's just like okay, like you can tell this may be this person's POV, and like it's crazy, but they're actually standing it. Versus like, just artificial controversy, just like someone clearly just trying to get on camera just to piss people off and just to fucking do whatever. Like that's the shit. I'm just like, okay, like I don't even know if you believe in that. I don't even know if you yourself believe in what you're doing right now.
Right.
Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like I can just tell, you know?
Yeah, I think that's kind of just where we're at in the world today.
Not facts.
With all the
There's no escaping that. Yeah.
knowledge vomit,
Yeah.
like information vomit. That's what it
Facts.
is. You know, like if you look up, are grapes good for you? You're gonna have one thing that says grapes are the best food in the world
Yeah.
for you, and one thing that say
Fuck every grape I've come across
Right.
in my life. Yeah.
never eat grapes
Yeah,
again,
yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
right.
So it's like,
Facts.
what do I
Which
do?
do
How
you
do
do?
I navigate this? And I think it's like what works for you.
You know,
know
and
what
like,
I mean?
but like that's what I was saying. Like I'm just like, because again, easier than done to post on social media, but like you have to kind of find something like aligns in your voice and like doesn't feel like you're, just like being something inorganic. You know what I mean? 'Cause,
Right.
like that's just gonna lead to all sorts of bullshit. So
Right.
just like speaking of like as far as a podcast too, bro. Like, do you have any like guests that like you aspire to get on? Like, do they all have to well, I mean, because like they've all been from Pittsburgh so far, but like
Right.
do
Like surrounding.
yeah,
Not
well, yeah,
everyone's
not
gonna
like
be
Pittsburgh
specifically-
proper,
right,
yeah,
right.
absolutely, but just like the surrounding area. Are you just focusing on like people from like the area right now, or do you plan to like kind of branch out to like maybe other athletes that like you may know or not know, or
I mean, I'll take anybody who's
willing?
current or former professional athlete.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I'm not, maybe, one day it, and like I said, I really didn't like think to have the thought of like really going full force with it. It's kind of just been something like I've wanted to do, and
For a while now,
just
yeah.
something to provide a little bit extra value. But I mean, any person who's on the cover of a magazine or
Right,
cover of a
yeah.
video game, like that would be,
Yeah.
crazy. But where I'm at right now, like I think all professional athletes have something
to share,
to give, you know what I mean? Like obviously because they made it to that pinnacle,
right?
whether it was the big leagues or not, whether it was, it doesn't matter what level, they made it more than 90% of the population
Crazy,
will ever make it,
right?
so they can provide a lot of value, no matter what level they play professionally at, even if
Definitely.
they're in the, anybody can provide value, you know what I
No,
mean?
facts, absolutely.
The hear from the pros kind of specific mantra, any of those guys.
For sure. No, bro, Chris, I just want to say, man, thank you so much for coming back. Because,
I appreciate it,
like I
man.
do want to
Thank
pay
you.
respect to the fact that you've been on this podcast before. This is your second time now, man. And again, bro, I'm just so proud of you, bro. It's just like
appreciate it. Thank you a
it's
lot.
been a pleasure, man. So obviously, this is the part in the pod where the floor is yours, brother. Anything you want to plug as far as where they can find you for your services,
Okay.
where they can find the podcast, please plug that because I want people to tap into that, and just where they can find the Eisel Elite merch, all that stuff, bro. But
Yeah.
again, brother Chris,
I appreciate it.
my man, thank you so
DK.
much, bro.
I appreciate, you guys. You can find my training Instagram account at Eisel Elite _412. I post, training content, information, tips for athletes. My Hear from the Pros podcast, I put on there as well. So a lot of value in that. Give it, check it out. If you're an athlete or, you have athlete, you're a parent of an athlete, feel free to check that out. And I'm located right in the South Hills of Pittsburgh. So, looking forward to anyone who might, be interested in that. So I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man, for sure, bro. Well, listen, man, MIC podcast, episode 112, community content. Yeah, get it all here. We got Big Eisel, Chris Eisel in the building, and we're out, bro. Peace.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.